she can bake up to 10 cakes. Another mom can bake up to like 5 cakes per day only. But if she gets support, they both can work on 10 cakes. So there's different capacity that can be met.
So it's only the layer cake at this point in time, the kueh lapis?
No, that's our main source of revenue, but we do have other simplified cakes as well, which is run by 2 other mothers. We have like Morokus, which is run by another mother, because it depends on what our market needs. Like some of the B2B cafes, the smaller ones, they don't want to go for layer cakes. They just want like a bundt cake, for example.
Right.
Hi.
Sorry, somebody else was asking.
Yeah.
Michelle, go ahead.
No, hi, thank you. Aida, I used to work for the government, and you know, responsible for oversee like part of it is public health. One of the things I know that the government is very interested in, especially when you expand and go B2B, is actually food poisoning. So I don't know how kueh lapis, I suppose, is not so open to food poisoning. But one of the things that when you go to the big organizations, they want to know that nothing happens with the food that their people consume. So making sometimes that fact that you are hygienically or not creating these problems is also a selling point that differentiates you from the other suppliers of these things. It's very big an issue. It's a very big issue. We don't advertise it, we don't promote it, but our officers really go out there and catch. And so anything homemade, that's why in Singapore, it's a huge issue about homemade businesses and things like that. May want to think about the risk management side of it, but not so sure about cakes versus like cooked food or whatever. But still, there is a huge issue. If you can differentiate that ours are all sort of quality checked and this is not a problem, the businesses may be more open to it. I know that from outside, that's what I had to do, and I checked all the KPIs, how many cases across Singapore, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Very big issue.
I understand where you're coming from. That's also in the back of our minds, like in our minds. That's why we want to have a centralized place as well, where the moms come. At least we have a direct, monitoring of that.
Correct. But make this your selling point, that you care about it. So just like when we look at all our hygiene people, those who like put special effort, our officers are happier.
Yeah.
And actually, that is a promotion point.
Okay.
Aida, because you're in this space in F&B, there is in Malaysia, I presume there's some form of certification kind of program. Yeah. So usually, if you have a certification to say that whichever ministry kind of qualifies you as okay, that reduces the number of the steps a lot more, right? Because say
absolutely.
Yeah. So is that something that you might want to work towards too?
Yes. Right now, what we do, our mothers are certified in terms of the Ministry of Health requirements. Like they do go for the courses, they do go for getting their typhoid injections, all those requirements for Ministry of Health we fulfill. But again, I think it would be a stronger point if we say that we have one central place rather than say, okay, monthly we do kitchen auditing, but monthly, what about daily? Like I understand their concerns. So when we do our proposal, when we send our catalogs, we write it very clearly there. We send the certificates, we even send photos of the kitchen. But even if we do that, they'll still ask, oh, but me too, like in the back of my mind, I want to know what's happening there so I can see with my own eyes. Any other questions from anyone else?
Aida, I don't have a question, but just want to firstly thank you for your sharing. So I came to listen, but also I'll take it back and I'll think about it. So myself, I'm also entrepreneur. So I understand, starting up and all that, and running a business is hard work. So on top of that, I think I just want to say that before I could jump to another room, that just talked to here in Singapore, Ministry of Manpower, and one of the problem statement they are looking at is how to get some of these lower income workers for them to have to be paid better. And so this is something that I'm working on. And in terms of technology, I think there may be some synergies to what you are doing. But let me digest a little and I'll be in touch. I'm not sure whether we have your contact, but anyhow, I will ask Wayne or Wen for your contact. I'll reach out to you. And I think maybe just to introduce myself a little, I guess how I can help. This is my first time coming into expert network session. And as I think about it, I think one way that I can potentially help, I wouldn't say it's a coach, but like somebody to bounce ideas, because I'm a strategic and type of guy lah. So that is how I introduce myself. Yeah, so I really look forward to continue communicating with you after this. Yeah. So I'm not in this space, so I need to think about how we can work together or how we can support each other. But thank you for your sharing.
Thanks, Jay.
Yeah. So a couple, just to let everyone know, because this is really more on the expertise network. So the kind of support that you can provide could be introductions. Let's say, since Aida mentioned she would like to be in touch with more cafes or hotels, introductions would be huge. Having insights or market knowledge into something very niche, like the food industry, like what Michelle said, or even ministries is also huge, because then you can avoid certain landmines. Access to market is quite similar to introduction, but could be a lot more specific to say that, oh, I actually know this major distributor. You talk to this guy, he can open up to 10 different cafes, 10 different hotels, for example. So these are the kind of things that could definitely help. And last but not least, if you want to support from more on the business strategy point of view, you can definitely do it. Okay, so just to be very clear, these are other ways to provide support that may not be so obvious, but a lot of times I found that one introduction sometimes can literally turn around the business. So we can never underestimate that. Yeah. Any more comments or additions from anyone?
Wayne, maybe just to check with you, do we move to the other room ourselves, or is there a time and then you move us? How does it work?
Give me a second. Guys, okay. I'm just checking with the team. Yeah, I think. Hey guys.
Anyway, just to further to add on to Wayne's point, I think Aida, just to let you know, I just had dinner with the CEO of Manpack here in Singapore. I don't know him well. We are part of another group, but I met him. So personally, we had dinner just I think few days ago. Because I don't know hotel space, so I don't know whether it's applicable for Malaysia or whatnot. But let me do some check, and maybe that may be a good introduction to you. Manpack Hotel, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
His name is Cho Peng Sam lah. I make Cho Peng Sam.
Okay.
Yeah, but let me check because I'm really not familiar with this space.
Okay. So if any of you also can help me introduce someone, if you have any background or exposure. The other day I went to this workshop. It's a food workshop, but they're focusing on hot food. So that's why when I asked for help for baked goods, they said no, they don't have expertise. But what they did was they have this technology that could freeze up all the molecules. Like it's like a cook chill type of style, but they don't have this for our products, for cakes especially. So the food, it could last up to a year when they freeze up the molecules. So I think if we were able to scale up, if there's a technology that can help us to do that as well, I think that would be superb. Or layer cakes is very manual, but I don't know how we can kind of like use technology as well to simplify the process. I'm not sure. Yeah. So that would be great as well.
Okay, so Aida, just a recap. What are your top 3 non-monetary needs at this point in time? I kind of heard certification, introduction to hotels and cafes. This one is kind of interesting because I'm hearing access to technology to extend food shelf life.
Yeah.
Are these your top 3, or are there others that are of higher priority?
I think the top 3 is one would be to expand our market. So the introductory to our target segment, like cafes and hotels. Hotels is what we're really aiming for because we see a vision there. Secondly, it would be, in terms of expert wise, it would be if I can get support technical on food and beverage, like that, like those technology methods that we can use to commercialize the products with, or the recipes. So those are two main expertise that I'm looking for. Yeah, that's mostly because we want to solidify that aspect as well. Or third, if you know anyone or if you familiar with the F&B industry, what would be the questions that these target segments will ask in terms of certifications, hygiene?
I have a suggestion for you. You're looking for a central kitchen, of course, to ensure the standards are consistent, right? So what some friends did before, because they started a social enterprise to help disadvantaged women to bake, they found a cafe, right, with already a setup with the ovens and stuff like that, which serve customers like from morning till lunchtime, right? Then in the afternoon, they took over the cafe space and made use of the ovens so that they don't have to have another setup. So that way, in the morning, the mothers could attend to their household chores and stuff. And the afternoon, they could bake, as well as the space is already set up. So you use it when the cafe is not using that space. So it worked out very well both ways. So just a thought in case you have a space like that, instead of investing everything yourself, meaning like you look for a space, you purchase the commercial ovens and all that, which is quite expensive, right? Then you have a whole different list of things to do. Maybe look for a smaller cafe that can share, or use it at a time that they don't need. So just a suggestion.
It's an interesting angle. I never thought.
Wow, I love that, Sui Ying. Actually, Aida, just as a comparison, this is the trend for coffee shops in Singapore. So yes, so in the morning they will serve your normal coffee shop stuff, your kopi, your teh, your butter toast and stuff, kaya toast and stuff like that. Then from the evening onwards, it becomes a pub.
Oh.
So then they'll start serving alcohol and stuff like that. Of course, things have changed because of COVID, but that's how they actually did shared tenancy, because it's late. I mean, your coffee shop is not going to open until 12 p.m., right? And even if you do, you won't be serving coffee at 12 a.m. midnight. So they actually, by doing that, they half their costs and they up the occupancy. So Sui Ying brought up something that's very interesting, because now you're talking about the back end kitchen, which I never thought of. So maybe something very interesting to explore.
Yeah. Do you have examples of that? I can Google, see how.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what there is in the area around you, but don't have any examples at this point in time. Wayne, what is that that place? I can't remember. There was one place in Singapore that was kopitiam in the morning.
Serene Center. Kopitiam in the morning is a restaurant in the night.
And then there is one at Tiong Bahru as well.
Yeah, Serene Center in Farrer Road. Yeah, they do that as well.
I remember there was a full page article on Straits Times to talk about how the landscape has changed and people are doing shared tenancy to occupy the space fully. I don't know whether I can find the article, but let's see. Yeah, but the concept is what Sui Ying is suggesting is leverage on someone who has already put in the sunken cost, and he's actually interested. You go to them, you are actually proposing a cost recovery proposition. It will come across as it should come across as quite attractive to them actually,
It's
unless
more win-win. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really win-win.
because they're sunken the money, right? And everything is already there, and they're not using it beyond a certain timing. So why not make some money back from that? I love the idea.
And
For
at
that.
this point in time also, right, because with the COVID and the lockdowns and all this, right, perhaps you might want to look into either on social media or advertising your products to homes, like Chinese New Year coming, right? Advertise it to homes rather than to hotels, because at this point in time you can't dine out. So I think you're very well aware of that. Yeah. So I don't know how long this is going to be around for. So that's another market that you might want to just think about. You might be able to mail the item to them, because certain things like kueh lapis, they can last a long time. Yeah. Well, that's my 2 cents worth. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, guys. So this is how it's gonna work. We are making this free and easy. If you guys feel that you have other things you'd like to help Aida with or want to have more conversations, feel free to stay. There's no hard and fast rule that says that you have to hop. But maybe if here you're saying that, okay, this space I'm not really familiar, maybe I should check out the other rooms. If you're using the later version of Zoom, you can just teleport yourself to the other breakout rooms. So by all means, no issues at all. It's quite free and easy. So yeah, if you need help switching rooms because you're on the older version of Zoom, just leave the breakout room, go to the main room, and Bernice will help to reassign you to the other rooms. Okay?
Thanks, Wayne. Thanks, Aida. I'll be in touch. I'll be going to another room now.
Okay, thanks,
See
Jay.
you.
Thanks, Wing.
I see some people have come in and out. Okay, the other thing to take note is that when we say introductions, is either you know someone directly, or you may also want to consider if you can introduce Aida to someone who may know someone, because it's the 1 or 2 level of separation, right? 1 or 2 degrees of separation. So just give it some thoughts. Well, Aida, we have a couple of new people who just come on board. So maybe you can just do a quick reintroduction and again articulate your top 3 non-monetary needs and see whether our new guests who have just come on board can kind of understand and see how they can contribute.
All right. I see Kenneth. Hi, Kenneth. Hi, JX. So in my previous introductory, I'm a co-founder of Ibupreneur. We're a social enterprise in Kuala Lumpur where we empower financially dependent and vulnerable mothers such as single, unemployed, or retired mothers that has low savings. So what we do is we specialize in the F&B realm, mostly in confectionery. Since we started in July 2019, we've always focused on confectionery B2C. But now we realize our mothers are earning consistent income and also financial sustainability for us when we go to B2B. But we haven't dropped the B2C yet because seasonally it does very, very well. For example, like Raya, Chinese New Year, Deepavali, and Christmas. But between those periods, we need a consistent like weekly revenue for us as well. So that's why we've shifted to B2B, like cafes. And now we are really targeting to enter into hotels because our products are very heritage. So hotels like Mandarin Oriental, Majestic, those are very Asian. So we thought that, this is a market because also they do a lot of collaboration with local artists, especially for afternoon tea. Their in-room gifts, like they do like these chocolates by local chocolate makers. So we thought, hey, we have a mission, we have the product. It could be a potential market for us, but we don't know how to enter because they are a big corporation and they would need that background technicalities of the hygiene factor because we run a decentralized centralized model on our platform because we don't have a central kitchen yet. All the mothers are baking in their own house. We do kitchen auditing as well, but that's only on a monthly basis. We don't have an eye-to-eye, but we do send them for courses to fulfill at least the minimum requirements of the Ministry of Health. On top of that, they also use their own recipes, but their own recipes, they don't have a standard operations for their goods. So perhaps this is something that the B2Bs are looking for. So that's the help that I need. If anyone in that realm, the likelihood and how I can enter that space. It's very niche, but it targets a higher end market. So for Honey, Jack, and Kenneth, do you guys have any inputs?
Sorry, I don't think I can pull that kind of string for you because I'm in the tech industry. I do not have much contact in this F&B area, right? But part of my job is really about looking at the COVID situation around Asia Pac. And I know that KL went into this, or Malaysia went into this lockdown for for a substantial period of time. But what I want to share with you is really around, I think, because I also work with some US customer, and they are saying that you talk about B2C, and then you want to go into B2B kind of thing because you're going into the hotels and all that. So from a product perspective, are you going to have a different set of products for the home consumer versus let's say the hotels and all that? Do you want to, it's just something that you may want to take note of, that is, you want to create something unique for each market, or you want to have the same set of products. So that is something that you might also want to think about, right?
Yeah. We usually for our products, the moment that the B2, for example, cafes are interested in the product, we find that they would be enough of the market to fulfill the mother's capacity. So we do remove it from the B2C. And then we promote together with the cafe, say, hey, this cake is available there. That's how we do it.
Right. So there is no hard and fast rule around F&B kind of thing. It's just something, because the customers for both B2C, B2B, they are slightly different.
Yeah.
Yeah, and based on taste bud and all that, and the purpose of why they frequent the cafes and all that. So it may make a difference between how you market the products, or what kind of products you're going to introduce there as well.
In your experience, someone told me once that you should always focus B2B because you'll never do them both right. So I felt like that has been alarming in my head. What do you think about that?
I think you probably need to look at your local market. What is more profitable? Yeah, because I think in KL, I think during this lockdown there is still delivery happening, and and also with the short amount of time they can dine in and all that, will they want to have more of this kind of delivery? So these are some of the factors that you need to consider as well, right? Maybe at this time, it's a small portion of B2B, but a more substantial percentage of your time spent on B2C. So it really depends on the local market.
Okay.
Okay, so I've just kind of fleshed out, I've re-summarized the top three needs that Aida has. I understand that it's market access to hotels and cafes, technical support on F&B, such as technology to extend product shelf life, and really kind of understanding this sector in terms of the SOPs and regulatory requirements. Did I get that right, Aida?
Yes.
Okay, so what we say here is that, okay, either you understand, you have direct, you know how to have access to this tree, or do you have someone who may know someone that maybe we can get, that you can do the honor of asking, or maybe even just giving Aida the direct contact for her to reach out to. So again, we always understand that there's always first degree, then always second and third degree of separations, right? So if there's any, do feel free to reach out to Aida. I think she would really appreciate your support and help.
Hi, Aida. My name is Hong Yi here.
Hi, Hong.
Yeah, I came in the second round, so maybe I missed out some things when you were talking halfway. Can I ask a few questions to understand? I was the one who asked Wayne to flash the thing on the screen again because you were the first presenter and I forgot to take a screenshot. So now I'm reading it in more detail so I have a better idea. Can I ask you how you started this social enterprise? I mean, what prompted you to do it? Was it because of the COVID or was it because of something else or whatsoever? Can you share with me a little bit about your thoughts on that?
So in the beginning of my journey, that photo of the two ladies,
Yeah.
Ka Ellie and Ka Noor, we call her. Ka Ellie is a single mother, and her husband passed away. But before her husband passed away, she adopted a little girl, and she was struggling financially because she only gets 500 ringgit pension per month.
Sure.
She used to bake she used to bake the layer cakes back in 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And she's doing she did well, but I guess back then her approach was very different, very traditional. She would sell to her neighbors, her friends, but she moved to Kuala Lumpur.
Yeah.
So it's time for her to start back again. And I got connected with her through my aunt who said, hey, I got the cake office from her. And since I kept my contact with her when I ordered, she would tell me her struggles. And then I would meet Katnor, and then I would meet one of my aunts, who's my other aunt, whose husband lost his job, and he's 6 years old, and she's just struggling financially, but they all have amazing talents, and they really motivate me as women, knowing what they go through. So I thought that I used to sell clothes online, just little clothes. I was like, okay, I mean, you can do something about this, so let's try. So when we did our pilot project, we were able to bring in 7,000 ringgit. So we thought, oh, wow, this actually worked, and they were very happy. So we thought, let's scale it up. But when we started, different challenges, it wasn't like as fruitful as it was during the pilot project. So we thought, okay, we need to do more. And then we found more women with the same story. So this is where we are at now. And we saw that there's a thing called social enterprise, and we haven't stopped since. That's how we started.
So what do you see your role? Do you see your role as matching these women with jobs? Is that what you see your role as? Matching the women with jobs, right? In summary, lah.
Yeah, like we open the market for them, and we help them to find the opportunity, and we help them to brand their product.
Okay, so while you wrote down there, and Wayne happily removed off the slide down there, which I was still looking at it. So while you wrote down there that it is for F&B, are you already fixed that those will be the sector that you want the women to find the extra income in only?
Yes. But for us, Ibupreneur itself is a social enterprise. We also started opening online training for them to get into that digital entrepreneurship.
Correct.
So but that's not our revenue stream. We just started doing it last month.
So sorry, so let me ask the question. So you are very sure that these are the sector that you want to penetrate into for the women to find jobs in, right?
Yes.
You're not considering other sector lah. You already done your homework to say that these are the sectors, and you believe that these will be the sectors.
Yes.
Any reasons why you don't consider other sectors?
What kind of sectors are you talking
I don't know. I'm just looking. The slide went missing again. How about the cleaning sector or something like that, or secure? I don't know. I'm just giving it as a. Have you done your homework to say that these are the sectors? Because there are two aspects to what you're doing, right? You are doing the women with the skills and the place that needs them, right? So we can either tackle the place that needs them, or we can deal with the women with the skills. So if I look at your one slide down here, thanks, Wayne, it is very focused on the organization that needs them. But I don't seem to understand the skills that the women have. So I'm just trying to see whether is there a match. That's all I'm asking the questions.
Oh, yeah. So before we recruit them, they definitely have the skills. Because you don't find any woman that can bake layer cakes that takes 8 hours to finish.
Yeah, no, what I'm trying to say is that, have you started from where they are? That means, are there women down there with other skills, but don't know how to monetize them yet or whatsoever? Will that be part of your portfolio? Or no, your portfolio is just getting women into this industry only, the F&B, the technology, you know?
Yes, so far that's what we're focusing on, because our model is what we are currently doing. The model is 60% of the revenue goes to them and 40% goes to our operations to help them market and package. So we haven't, apart from getting them certified and trained in terms of what the Ministry of Health requires, everything else we don't try to send them to workshops, start from the bottom, and take years to master the product, which they have a product that they can already do.
Sure. Okay.
Of course, of course, there are other women that we wanted to venture into, like make those bags in the hypermarkets that we use plastic to put the fruits in.
Yeah.
So we tried to find a replacement product for that that's more sustainable.
Yeah.
We thought that the idea was cool, but I don't have the technical background to find how to create the best product, and the moms don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Unless someone can come in and help me with that, okay.
Okay.
But for now, we're quite focused.
Correct.
So my understanding is this is a very grounds up thing. Aida, correct me if I'm wrong. You chose F&B and very specifically layered cakes because this is the skill set that the existing Ibus that you're working with have.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's more grounds up. I think Hong Yi was basically trying to understand why not arts and craft, why not cleaning, why not something else, right? I guess my understanding is because the initial group of women you're working with, this is the most viable skill set that you have, and you started from there.
Yeah. Okay, understood. So I understand her request, which is very specific, and I understand why is she asking for that specific request. Unfortunately, I'm not the best person for entering into the F&B sector, but that's why I wanted to ask that as well, whether she was exploring other things as well.
You happen to know someone who knows someone in the hotel or cafes industry?
No, I know people, but I know them as unsuccessful. F&B kills a lot. You understand, right? And during the COVID-19, it kills even more people. So yeah. So unfortunately, that is the case. Since you asked me the question, yes.
Let's go the other way then. What about hotels? Do you know people who are either in the hotel, if not, works with the hotels? Because hotels will have a lot of different vendors and suppliers as well.
Correct. But her vendors and suppliers are more for cakes, right? And layer cakes only, right? It's not that. I must say that the main pain for hotel or the hospitality industry is more for the cleaning side more than anything else. So that's why I was thinking. That's why I was asking her whether is she only focus. I didn't really ask directly, but I was saying, is she only focusing on cakes only? Are there other areas that she see herself as a social enterprise matching women to jobs, or just matching women to cake making for art? That's all. I just wanted to be clear about that. If she's very clear about cake making, which I'm sure she is, and I'm very glad to see that she's very focused, because there are people who are not very focused, then I'll say that I'm not the best person. That's the reason why I was asking all those questions.
Okay. Yeah, not in the cleaning realm, because we have made easy for that. We also have Pink Collar, which is another social enterprise. So
yeah. But don't worry, I think there are more people around. I'm sure they can help you along the way. I will move along to another group again. And if you need me, you can always ask Wayne. Wayne will know how to get in contact with me. All the best.
Thanks, Hongi.
There. See you.
See you. Okay, we have a couple more new people who just joined in. So Aida, you have to repeat the whole thing again. I've kind of put up this slide just for the convenience of everyone else. So maybe you just want to go and do a quick one, and we can have some of our new guests, have some interactivity.
Okay. Hi, Johan, and hi, Amelia. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm Aida from Ibupreneur. So we are a social enterprise in Malaysia where we empower financially dependent and vulnerable mothers, such as single, unemployed, P40, or retired mothers with low savings, to earn additional income, mostly through confectionery baked goods. So currently we have 9 mothers on board, but each of them does different products. So how we've been operating that we've always served B2C market, but we find that it's very seasonal so far. I mean, it does well during Chinese New Year, Raya, Deepavali, but then in between, there's some inconsistency as well, because I guess the product itself is quite festive. So that's why we decided to venture into B2B as a supplier for cakes, for cafes, and we're really looking at hotels for the long term because of our heritage products. So that's the kind of support that I'm looking for today. If I can have, if you guys can support me or connect me to someone for more market access, especially in the hotels, and maybe help me to consult what kind of questions they will ask, what kind of requirements they would need for this kind of social enterprise that want to supply cakes to them. And I'm also looking for, on top of that, what they would ask is they would want to know what's our what are the factors that we put in to provide the SOPs, regulatory requirements, especially hygiene, because we run a centralized model where the mother's still big at home. So of course, one day we want to have a centralized place for them to come in and bake. So that's easier to monitor. And thirdly, I'm looking for like an expertise to help to prolong the shelf life of the food with some sort of technology. Because I know that they do this freeze molecule, and some consultants, food consultants especially, know how to commercialize how to substitute the recipes with the right ingredients to make it maybe more, more premium or more long lasting. So those are the 3 needs that I'm looking for today. Johan, Emilio, and Andreas, if you guys have any inputs or questions.
Well, I'm Johannes from Indonesia. I'm not Indonesia anyway. But the thing is, what sort of product actually aiming at? Is it only for kind of cakes or something else?
Oh yeah, it's mostly baked goods, like layer
Okay.
cakes, our main product line. So we have 20 different types of layer cakes. We have like steam cakes, traditional ones. But what our mothers did, they innovated the recipes to make it more modern. We have like some cookies as well, but that's because that serves like a different market need. Like corporates, they love that. In cafes, they like the simplified cakes. So those are the range of products that we
have. I think in sorry, in that case, that I think you have to consider the hygiene standard that if you enter to a bit high profile cafe or hotel, something like that. But sometimes I just sharing the mothers that actually working on the home industry, they call it somehow, is to work with the products actually not really what they call it perishable in a short life. So let's say they produce the dried banana cake, not cakes actually, flakes or something like that. So actually they just put in the bag, and then they put it in the small shops. They actually don't really require so much what do you call it, certifications, but it's in the local shops. There will be, I can see that actually the market is actually moving. But if you want to target to a bit more sophisticated market, that could be a bit difficult for me to for you to enter, I think. And also in particular is actually the the continuous of the supply.
Yeah.
So if you think about the local shops, I don't know the regulation in Malaysia, but in Indonesia, it's quite relaxed into we call it the small shops. That would be a good way to start, I think.
Yeah. It's a little bit harder to enter that space. You're right. But also I've had this experience where I went to this food workshop where they were able to, they have the technology to prepare the food, but it's hot food, not baked goods. Hot food in large amounts of like volume. And then they can just freeze it up, freeze the molecules, and they have literally a food bank of like a room of food that can last up to 1 year. But then what they do is they provide consultation to cafes and they develop the menu for them. Then that's how their business works. So I try to approach them if they can help us with the baked goods, if they can help like modify the recipe so we can like reach that volume, because hotels, they probably would want a bigger scale, right? But I don't know anyone that knows that, especially for baked goods.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't think I can give you more information on that. But the trend somehow in Indonesia, in the small towns like I'm living now, is actually the mothers actually selling like what do you call it, a tea. Just in front of the house, they open just a small, what do you call it, mobile shop, and when they can sell, they prepare actually in a house for and then they blend the tea, something like that, and then could actually give them some more incomes, and they work only for a few hours in a day, not the whole day. Normally the target is after 4 p.m. where people actually a bit more relaxed, and then that's how they open the small shops. So in the morning they prepare all the things and for the mix, and then they sell in the afternoon until a bit late evening.
Okay, based on my understanding of the Malaysian market, this may not quite work because it's a little bit different, especially now in COVID-19. I think things have changed a bit.
Yeah.
People are even more careful about things that are done just off the street, because we don't know whether this is done by a home where the family is infected or not, for example.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds a bit so actually, I think what Aida is really trying to do makes sense given this current climate where there's a lot more concern about regulations and hygiene and stuff like that. Aida, I have a quick question. When you want to move towards a central kitchen, then there is actually an assumption that most of these mothers have no issues with transportation. But from what I understand, in some cases, even transportation could be a problem. Is that assumption correct, or is it not correct?
The mothers that we're working with, transportation is not an issue. So this discussion that we've had with them, that is something that they want as well, because it's a haywire at home. Suddenly orders for 1,000 murukus, and it's just boxes in their home. So they do want that central kitchen as well.
So they do want a central kitchen, and they are willing to travel.
Yes, because we're because the mothers I chose, the community I chose, they're within 5 km as well, within Klang Valley. So we haven't ventured out so far in the rural area, so deep inside. So
Okay.
proximity is something that we look at as well, especially during the COVID one mom that we haven't been able to engage her so much because she lives 45 minutes away, and now during the lockdown there's so much roadblocks. So when we want to order something from her, we have to order a lot. You know, we have to order 50 bottles at once, just so we don't have to go through the operation issue in terms of logistics.
Just so that you have to order a lot, just so that you don't have to go through the logistics, meaning that the shipping and stuff like that, is it?
Yeah, yeah. Because it's so expensive. Like from her place to ours is about 40 ringgit, one trip.
Oh.
And that would eat. We've had this conversation. Okay, we'll share the cost, but then it's a very high cost to do every single time. We can predict the demand of her products, so we just order bulk up front and try to like really push for the inventory to go out.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And what happens in a central kitchen environment whereby there are 2, 3, or 4 Ibus doing the same thing, all layer cakes? Are they going to bake it the exact same way, or they have their own different recipes? How is that going to work? I'm just curious.
So how our mothers work now, it's by pairs. They do have their own recipes, but they work together.
Mm-hmm.
So the cakes are really the same. But again, this is what I want help with, like someone to. That's why I wanted someone to help me to standardize the recipe, to come in and say, hey, you should be this way, this way, this way. So if we go on a bigger scale, it's more consistent every single time.
So there's actually a need to standardize the recipe.
Yes, because sometimes, okay, this is what happens. Sometimes the cakes come a bit taller than it should be, and we're like, oh, why is that? So we have to be, because we were working with vulnerable women, we have to be very careful with how we speak to them. Like, oh, and if we found out, oh, because she's using different type of butter and she's adding another 100 grams because she thought it was like a bit bubbly. So, you know, that cannot happen. Yes.
Okay. Hi, Aida.
Hi,
Okay. I'm Amelia. I'm from Indonesia, and then currently I'm a lecturer in one of university in Indonesia in Manado. I don't know if you ever heard about Manado before. Manado is in Sulawesi Island. Okay, so I'm interested to what you do so far, and then I'm very proud of you because you try your best to help the women, right? Okay. Okay, so now you are talking about how to standardize the cake, right? Okay, and also you have a problem with your SOP. Okay, so have you ever heard about the blueprinting?
No.
No. Okay, so blueprinting basically like this. Okay, it is the process from how you start to create the cake until you finish it, or maybe start how you get the order of the cake until you deliver it. So you create the flow chart. Okay, what should you do? So basically the first thing that you have to do, you have to define the activities. Okay, so what kind of activities do you have, or the activities you need to do in order to make the cake? Okay, and then you put it on the box, and then you put an arrow on it. Okay, so once you create that one, and then you can find out what are the fail points in each activities. Okay, so one of them, let's say when you create it, there will be a fail point, which is the recipe is not standardized. Okay, so once you know the fail points, okay, you can start to find the solution. Okay, so the solution, how to standardize the taste of the cake. Okay, so it means that you have to make a discussion first, right, with your team, and then I believe there are some trial and error during making the cake, and then I believe you also find the best cake that you have had. Okay, and then I think you can start to write down at the time, or maybe you can ask the ibu who create the cake at the time, and then you can find. I think that you can start from the simple one like that.
Mm,
And then if you want to get the blueprinting, you can Google blueprinting.
okay.
That's very helpful, Amelia. Okay, just
Okay.
just to let everyone know, we are actually closing the segment officially, but you don't have
Okay.
to, because you can continue staying on to chat, and who
Okay.
knows, there could be other people who are hopping around as well. So we are
Okay.
actually ending the session in the breakout rooms.
Okay.
I
Okay.
will hop to another room because
Okay.
for business mentors, if anyone wants to be interested to find out more, you can also join us in the other rooms where you want to find out more how to become a mentor, a coach, or a specialist advisor.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
But Aida, my suggestion is you stay here at least for another 10-15 minutes because people may still hop in and out and ask some specific questions because some of them didn't come in here. Some of them
Okay.
we rotated 3 rooms and they may this may be the 4th one they haven't visited. So I don't know. I will have to hop already. So do stay
Okay.
on and continue chatting. It's been great having you guys, and I'm excited that there's a very helpful interaction going on. Okay.
Thanks, Wayne.
Okay.
See ya.
Okay. 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 Thank you.